Welcome back to BT. Good morning, Toronto. It's Xero here with you. Leaf fans had their heart kick-started on Friday. After we went off air Friday, some big news dropped regarding the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both Kyle Dubas and assistant GM Jason Spezza have parted ways with the team. Dubas is the main headline. So what on earth is going on with the Leafs? Nick Kypreos from the real Kper Borne on Sportsnet 590 The Fan joining us in studio. Kipper, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, Sid.
All right, let's get to the base of it for people that weren't paying attention over the weekend. So we heard from Kyle Dubas last Monday, and it was rather emotional. He said he was going to talk to his family and figure out what was next. Still talked about the steps the Leafs needed to take. But what he said about his family and how hard it's been really resonated. And then he didn't hear anything from the Leafs for basically 4 days. Friday, it was decided he wasn't coming back. Kipper, at the end of the day, what changed between Monday and Friday where Brendan Shanahan, the president of the Leafs, said, we got to move on without a guy who's had a lot of regular season success?
Well, I think we can go back to Brendan Shanahan's press conference on Friday stipulating that he didn't think it was a good idea for Kyle Dubas to go on Monday. And Kyle went on anyways, and we know why. There was an agenda for Kyle to send a message publicly that his head, his heart weren't emotionally in on the future of being the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that caught Brendan Shanahan completely off guard. So the next move was to decide, where is Kyle Dubas? I think he gave him ample time. I think the nail in the coffin, Sid, was when the agent who represents Kyle Dubas sent him a new package with terms, i.e. more money, i.e. more power. We're not sure, but it was reason enough for Brendan to say, you know what, I don't like where this is going anymore, and I've got to move on. I believe Brendan had no choice but to make the decision to let Kyle Dubas go.
A couple things. One, and again, because it was a long weekend, people are doing things, they're traveling. I urge you, go on YouTube and dial up the real Kper Borne show from Friday. It has not only the entire Brendan Shanahan press conference, which was one of the most extraordinary ones I've ever seen in terms of things being laid out, but Kipper's reaction with Gord Stellick afterwards. You have to watch it. I just watch that, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. So in terms of Kyle Dubas trying to get a better contract, let's be honest here, out of the Leafs, Kipper, based on what you've heard so far in the hours and in the days since, was this a money issue specifically, or was there a bit of a power play here with Brendan Shanahan that hasn't been completely aired out yet?
I think it's a matter of looking at both of them as being major drives in what has transpired. I think that when you deal with stories now moving forward, there's a lot of people in Kyle's camp right now that are suggesting that it was a power struggle, whether or not Kyle felt like he had autonomy to move quicker and faster through the process, whether he was frustrated or not with Brendan holding him back. There seems to be a bit of a storyline there, but come on, Sid, we're talking about a major multi-billion-dollar corporation. Like, sometimes it doesn't move that way, and you got to respect that process. You ever try to get a new computer out of Rogers? Come on, it takes...
No, but he's not kidding. No, but like...
It takes a little time.
It's whether Rogers, Bell, I don't care where you are, when the company's big enough. That's the part of this. All right, let's get into it. Because... I thought Kyle Dubas should have lost his job based on the results. Quite frankly, I thought he made some major mistakes early in his tenure as GM that crippled the Leafs financially, and they couldn't get out and get the guys that they needed to get done. Because when you look at Stanley Cup winners for a long time, their best players are signed at pretty team-friendly contracts. Now, after you win a cup, you get paid, but the Leafs never put themselves in that position. I just find it very difficult to stomach the notion. And listen, Kyle Dubas defenders are out there on social media right now, and you're not budging them on the opinion. Under no circumstances, based on what he's done as GM, should he have been given more power. Under no circumstances should Brendan Shanahan have moved out of the way and allowed for Kyle Dubas to have more of a say or move things along quickly. No. I firmly disagree with that. And quite frankly, it lends to the idea that this was the right move, because if you think that's how it's going to move in MLSE, then you're not, either you're dumb or you're not paying attention, or some combination of the two. I think this is the right move because they've allowed Kyle Dubas to have free reign on a lot of things. He can complain about things moving slowly. These moves that were made were massive, massive moves, and his fingerprints are all over them. Personally, I think it's time this organization stops just capitulating and letting people have what they want. Do you agree or disagree with that?
No, I agree with everything you say, but that's not the conclusion, excuse me, that Brendan came to. He didn't make that decision based on what you're talking about. He based it on the fact that Kyle decided this for me, which kind of gives it a different spin.
It takes him off the hook a bit, though, right? That's a great way to spin it.
Listen, temporarily it does.
Yeah.
But this whole fiasco was on Brendan's watch. And ultimately, he needs to be held accountable for that. And he needs to now fix it. What do? Do you go out and get someone who's available now, or do you go hire a guy who's under contract, like a Doug Armstrong?
Who's the guy? If you had to pick one guy, who's the guy?
I think Doug Armstrong would be the guy.
Current GM of the St. Louis Blues.
But listen, he's under contract. Right. If I'm an owner of St. Louis, I'm going to let you come in and take my guy and go win a Stanley Cup with him.
Stop.
Like you thought getting rid of Mrazek was expensive, or Patrick Marleau?
Yeah.
Wait till St. Louis asks for 2 first-rounders for Doug Armstrong.
The real Kper Borne, Daily Sportsnet 590, The Fan. This story is just beginning with the Leafs. Quickly, though, in terms of the Senators sale, the Ottawa Senators, we could find out as early as this week which group is going to own the Senators. Nick Kypreos, why are you interested in this?
Well, I've been advising a family, the Apostolopoulos family, Toronto family, that also has a bid, and that's all I can tell you right now.
You've been advising. How have the advisements been going? Good?
I'm told we have a chair at the table, we've got chips, and we got cards.
All right.
Let's play it out.
You need to be in the game to win the game, so to speak. So this is an exciting moment.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been a fun learning experience. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, best of luck. Next time we see each other, you might be a part owner of the National Hockey League. You never know. The real Kper Borne with Nick Kypreos. Listen to him today. Again, Friday's show was some of the best sports radio I've ever heard. I've done sports radio before. It was an amazing show. And go watch it.
Can I just add that Gord Stellick was a perfect guy to have there because Gord lived it. He turned down an offer to stay with the Leafs at 32. Similar situation as Kyle Dubas. He talked about one of the biggest regrets of his life. It's very compelling.
It was great stuff. Nick Kypreos, appreciate you, brother. Best of luck, by the way, this week.
Yeah, thanks.
Coming up after the break, we're celebrating you.